Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sportswithmongha. And we are back with another video, and it's a wrap. It's done. It's dusted. It is McLaren winning the 2024 Constructors World Championship with, can you imagine the number of points they've got? Six, six, six. That's the number of points that McLaren has got. Ferrari, I think they should be proud with the number two, given the performances, given what they've had through the season, what they've had to go through the season. 652 points, 14 points behind the leaders, McLaren, with 666. What a name. It's almost like somebody was playing poker. I wonder why McLaren has such an affiliation with betting apps. No pun intended, but I guess if you were a betting man or a woman or a child, I don't think children are allowed to bet. But if you were a betting person and you said at the start of the season that McLaren will be the Constructors' Championship in 2024, somebody would have just called you, okay, I'm going to bet against that, or I'm ready to take your money because that's not going to happen. But then if you are that person today, congratulations, well done, good job. Your 2024 Constructors champion are McLaren with Razze. McLaren was right behind, was the Scarlet Red of Scuderia Ferrari of Mr. Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc. Absolute madness scenes, guys. I don't know where you were watching this, but I was watching it with a lot of popcorn, a lot of Red Bull, and some Monet as well. Yes, I kept it on the side because I wanted to spray the champagne across the field and see if Ferrari won it. But then I did spray it because I was still happy that McLaren won it. But lots to get into. Sports with Monga, 150 subs. Idea is to get to 1 million. So thank you for all who's supporting the channel. Yeah, and keep supporting it. I don't know why, but it seems like the traffic on the traffic is currently low. And I'm like, why? Why is the traffic low? Help me get the traffic up. Help me get the traffic up. That's kind of the idea. So if you're new, thanks for watching. If you're not new, hit the subscribe button. Hey, share it with your friends. Tell them to subscribe. It's the most important thing, or the best help that you can do right now. Thanks for watching, and let's get into it. It's done. McLaren are the Constructors' Championship, a race made with so much on the back of it. It almost felt to me, was this first race of the season? If this was the first race of the season, I think Formula One would have had higher eyeballs. Like, if this was the first race of the season, the fact that this was the last race of the season kind of, I think, dampens a little bit of spirits. But then Norris led from the start and just didn't look in trouble. That's what I said in my predictions, in my qualifying reaction as well. The only thing that can stop a McLaren from winning is a McLaren messing up their strategy, messing up a pit stop. A crash between Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri would end this really, really bad. But this did not happen. Lando Norris has brought 2024 season to a close in style by winning the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in a dominant form. The Briton putting up in an assured drive to claim a victory and also help McLaren to clinch their first Constructors Championship since 1998. Can you imagine? In 1998, both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri had not even born. That's how far back they go. Can you imagine that? That's the reality, guys. But Lando Norris did an amazing job. I would say he has to be commended about the chaos that was happening behind him. Lap 1 incidents, lap 2 incidents, everything absolutely going back. Like really crazy, absolutely. But let's get into this. It was strong start of the race for pole sitter Norris, amid the chaos behind him. Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen making contact. Oscar Piastri is spinning. Max Verstappen still continuing. But it was beautiful. Oscar Piastri's radio was, that's what you get from a world champion. What a pun. I'm sure Max Verstappen would have loved it. Simply lovely. That's what I was. Simply lovely. What a goal. Lovely. It was a strong race for the pole sitter, with Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen making contact in the battle for second, which saw the latter receiving a penalty and the former dropping down the order. There was also further trouble for the Australian, who received a punishment for his own for a collision with Williams Franco Colapinto. Yeah, it was kind of strange. Why couldn't he brake? Like, it was straight, like he just crashed into Franco Colapinto, and that was Franco's race. I don't know, with the Argentinian driving almost his last race for Formula One in Formula One for Williams, and I think it was, yeah, he didn't show. Everybody's been exciting. He's an Argentinian. Loads of fans for him, like loads. It was absolutely maddening, and the number of fans that he has. But he couldn't impress anybody. I think that he gets a drive next year. But who am I to say that he doesn't get a drive next year? There's loads of rookies, as I said, next year who could be on the chopping block already. But he did make the 2024 photo. That's interesting, right? Like, the 2024 photo had Franco Colapinto and Liam Lawson in it, with Daniel Ricciardo and Logan Sargent not there, and Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon not even making it to the final race, and Jack Doohan getting in the photo for Alpine. Absolute madness. Formula One is a fucking cutthroat, man. This was like no emotions. Like, they would have just let it go, but they just didn't let it go. They just didn't let it go. They like Alpine were like, we will not allow this to happen on our watch, or like, yeah, it was very interesting to see. I don't know if how much you guys follow this, but it was absolutely amazing to see. Absolutely amazing to see how this was going on and about. Uh what's up with the racing though? Like, where did we end up after this Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen? There was various battles as well from the behind, like various fights were taking place. We saw across the field with a solid performance from McLaren's title rivals, Ferrari. Norris kept a cool head up in front, taking the checkered flag by 5 seconds from former teammate Carlando again, and Carlos Sainz's last race for Ferrari, the Scarlet Red. He is a man signing off on a fucking high. That guy is pure class, guys. Pure class. But that was not enough. Ferrari fought from behind. Charles Leclerc coming from 19th and finishing top three. That's absolute madness of a race that he has done. But he was helped by a lot of people. Like, everybody went on the left. He had a straight run. He went to the outside of the first lap. He made 10 positions on the first lap. Can you imagine that? Everybody went left. He went straight on the right, on the outside line with a grippier line, and he got better traction. And he finished, he was P8 on the first lap, at the end of the first lap. Can you imagine that? That was absolutely mad. Yeah, Carlos Sainz, last race as a Ferrari driver. I think he's the man of class. Like, I think he knew from day one that Charles Leclerc is a long-term prodigy. He needs to kind of fight him hard. Like, he needs to do, if Charles Leclerc is at 50, he needs to do at like 500 for Ferrari to keep considering him in that seat. But of course, when Lewis Hamilton calls, then it's a different thing. Charles Leclerc put a fighting performance for the Scuderia to climb up back to third, having started from 19th. Behind him, a late duel played out between Mercedes teammates George Russell and Lewis Hamilton, with the seven-time world champion snatching the fourth win in the fourth position in the final stages of bringing his chapter with the score to an emotional close. That felt personal. That turn, that him going on the outside of George Russell, it felt very personal. It almost felt like he wanted to be like, "Hey kid, this is how champions drive." Toto Wolff at the end of the season, at the end of the race, also saying that was a champion's ride, where emotional Lewis Hamilton thanking Bono for his time. George Russell basically now knows it's on him. The mantle is on him. He's the number one driver in Mercedes, with Kimi Antonelli coming in. But it's going to be very, very, very interesting how this goes. Verstappen was sixth. I think it's very interesting in Red Bull. I really like Verstappen when he's like not fighting. He's like so calm. He's like, yeah, I'm done. Red Bull is not going to win. We are third confirmed on the constructors. Why am I fighting this? Let's gonna play it very cool. Verstappen was sixth. The Red Bull man having bounced back from his earlier penalty with Pierre Gasly following his seventh, as Alpine sealed P6 in the Constructors' Championship, with Nico Hulkenberg was eighth for Haas ahead of Aston Martin's Alonso in ninth. Piastri's recovery drive ended up with 10th place and disappointing outcome for Australian despite his team's success. Alex Albon was out of points for Williams in P11 as RB's Yuki Tsunoda in P12 and Zhou Guanyu ended his last race for Kick Sauber in P13. Team also allowing him to do fucking donuts. That was amazing, guys. Like last race, and he was like, "I'm gonna do this, guys. Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna do it." Jack Doohan debut and Aston Martin Stroll in P14. Jack Doohan's debut for Alpine, meanwhile, ended in P15, ahead of the first full season in the sport next year. Kevin Magnussen was the final classified in P16. We had 4 DNFs, one for Liam Lawson, and then it was also Valtteri Bottas. Kick Saubers ended prematurely having retired the car earlier in the race following a puncture, which was also similar to Colapinto's stint with Williams, which came to close on lap 26. The final retiree was Sergio Perez, who suffered a lap 1 spin following contact with Bottas and went on to record a DNF amid continued speculation over will he return in the next season. Loads to get into, guys. Let me know in the comment section below what do you think about where do you think actually this happened? Like, what's your reading of this? So, let's say first goodbyes. Like, who's done from this? But I first want to talk about Lewis Hamilton. He moves to the Scarlet. He moves to Scuderia, but he is going to be a top man. Top man. It's going to be very interesting for us to see how this moves on. This is key, guys. This is important for 2025. Ferrari are ending the season on a high. They ended both cars on the podium. McLaren have a tiger on the back. Red Bull have a tiger on the back. In my opinion, Lewis Hamilton will be reinvigorated with his amazing class and will be the talk of the town. George Russell takes the mantle. Max Verstappen, cool as a cucumber, making some really interesting statements at the end of the race, with one saying, and he got a two penalty points as well. Now he has 8, and he said, "Okay, I will get 12 in the first 4 races, so I can enjoy a parental leave, so I don't race at all." That's an interesting comment. Then he said, "20 seconds, fucking joke or something. Give me 20." Like, why? Yeah, he was absolutely like no fucks to give in this race, and it was interesting and lovely to watch. Pierre Gasly, what a turnaround! Brazil was the man. Brazil was the game. It was a race where it turned it around. Esteban Ocon, Pierre Gasly, both on the podium, getting the team which was down like 0. Like they were fighting with Sauber for points, for 0 points, but then moving up in P6 in one race, it's a turnaround. Haas can't catch them up. Williams can't catch them up. RB can't catch them up. Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly get Alpine stuck in there. E6 confirmed with beating the P, and it was interesting. 65 points and 58, 7 points the difference between Haas and Alpine. They basically went from 9th to 6th in the Brazilian Grand Prix, which was a 30 million pocket. They got 30 million more for the team, these two guys, and I'm sure Ocon was compensated enough for his, like, he was not even on in Qatar, in Abu Dhabi. Like, they ensured that there was no presence of Esteban Ocon. He came on social media to share his helmet. He said, "This is what I wanted to do. This is how I wanted to end with everybody and thank everybody." But then I think he was just booted out. He was like, "Fuck off, you're out," and he's joining Haas next year. So he was like completely like, "Bye bye, enjoy." So Haas has 2 drivers, Behrman and Mr. Ocon, and it was interesting to see the goodbyes for Nico Hülkenberg, who is now going to join Sauber with Bortoleto. Oscar Piastri stays, Fernando Alonso stays, Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson are going to go for it at the head of each other for the Red Bull seat, with Hajar as well in the fray. Zhou Guanyu said goodbye. I don't think he's going to see it. Kevin Magnussen said his goodbye to the team. Valtteri Bottas also is out. Franco Colapinto out, and I think the big name, Sergio Perez, the Minister of Defense, can now go to Mexico as an ambassadorial role for Red Bull. They still want him to sell Red Bulls in Mexico, and I think that's how they want, and that's how they want him to kind of continue to be the face of Red Bull without losing money. He's going to get a big deal. It's not going to be a small deal, but he won't be racing in Formula One. That's for sure. In 2025, for sure, and 2026, maybe if he gets a seat back from somebody. And it's going to be interesting, right? As I said, so many rookies on the table. Any rookie can be replaced any moment. Formula One is a cutthroat, and that's how it's done. We are at a wrap of 2024 Formula One Grand Prix. Mr. Max Verstappen has won it. McLaren have won the constructors. Ferrari number 2, Red Bull number 3 in the constructors. On the driver's side, it's been Max Verstappen 437, 374 for Norris, and Leclerc in 356. Piastri finishes 4th, and Sainz finishes 5th. It's going to be very interesting to see how this kind of pops up in the next year when Mr. Carlos Sainz is wearing the Williams colors. Absolutely amazing. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Get in the comments below, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. It's been an amazing season. Loads of content coming through your way as well. It's not done. Formula One is done, dusted, but then there's going to be storylines coming through. We have the test on Tuesday with Mr. Carlos Sainz jumping in the Williams for 2025 to see the first car. The Young Driver program will see a lot of new drivers to kind of try and see. So loads of content coming through the Formula One world. Then we have the Premier League, the Champions League, the La Liga, and the Serie A. Sportswithmongha continues with loads of content. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button if you're watching the first time. If you are already subscribed, thank you. Share it with your friends. And thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.